Peer programs, a way to prevent violence in our schools. It is very common that students find themselves in altercations and do not find a positive forum to resolve the problem. A strategy to lower the instances of violence in schools is through a peer mediation program. Students are trained in conflict resolution skills and then use them to resolve conflicts among peers at school. The goal is for students to learn the skills and utilize them without the assistance of adults. This also allows students to have an active role in determining the resolution of disputes. Students will have the ability to identify conflicts early in and outside of the classroom. Violence in schools is reduced when students have the opportunity to air grievances in the presence of a peer mediator who is able to come up with a win-win resolution. It is also hoped that these skills will translate into their other settings, for example, their home or their community. In peer mediation training, most programs focus on A. Facilitating an understanding of conflicts and its determinants, B. Teaching students effective communication, problem solving, and negotiation skills, and C. Providing a foundation for the education about peace and nonviolence. Theoretical influences. Peer mediation is influenced by several theoretical orientations. Kohlberg's theory of moral development, pre-conventional stage to the conventional stage. In pre-conventional stage, the child's behavior is motivated by the need to obey rules and avoid punishment. In the conventional stage, students develop moral reasoning of group expectations and social conventions. In behaviorism, students learn new behaviors and are rewarded for their abilities to resolve conflicts in a positive manner. Practical applications for implementation. Most schools implement peer mediation programs using a cadre approach in a small group of which students in each school are trained to be peer mediators. After training, students continue to meet with adult advisors to gain new skills. It is important to select a diverse group of students. Considerations for selection of students would be abilities to listen, communicate, respect others, and solve problems. The mediation process. When implementing a program, one needs to consider what kinds of conflicts are appropriate for the peer mediators, where in the school should mediation take place, how are mediators made available, and how often can mediators miss class. Peer counseling versus peer helping. Focus of peer counseling is on peers providing counseling rather than mediating conflicts among students. Students may not go to their school counselors when they are experiencing slight to moderate problems, but instead meet with a peer. Peer counseling can be organized into 4 basic peer facilitator or helper roles. A. A teacher or counselor special assistant. B. A tutor. C. A special friend. Or D. Small group leader. Not functioning as counselors, but more as peer facilitators. If not properly trained, this can result in ethical problems. There has been little research concerning peer counseling. What has been found is that counselors usually do not coordinate programs, but become involved in training peer tutors on listening skills and methods of referring students to counselors. Peer counseling often involves one-on-one counseling in issues of drug abuse, eating disorders, depression, and suicide. Surprisingly, many of these programs are being supervised by non-counselors who may have little training. Non-counselor supervision leads to high rates of suicide. Only slightly more than half of students are satisfied with peer counseling programs. Practical applications. The program needs to be clearly defined in scope and purpose. There is a concern that students can't handle the issues that are beyond them. Peer facilitators need to receive comprehensive training, and close supervision is vital to success. Many underestimate the amount of time the program requires. If you would like more information about implementing a peer mediation program at your school, please look to the National Peer Helpers Association. Some standards set forth by the National Peer Helpers are embracing philosophy that peer helping is an effective way to address the needs and conditions of people, respect individuals' rights to dignity and self-development, model positive behavior and life choices, embrace the concept of service to others for the good of the community, maintain confidentiality of information imparted during the course of the program, refrain from tackling situations in which they have no training and preparation, recognize, report, and know techniques to deal with stated or implied threats or emotional or physical well-being. With successful implementation of peer mediation programs, students can resolve their issues in a productive manner.